Hello, my beautiful caterpillars, and I can't believe that July is almost over. Like, it's crazy to me, which means book club time! Woohoo! Woohoo, book club! I don't know. I'm really weird tonight. It's like 9 o'clock. I had pop today, so I'm like, whoa! I think it's hitting me right now, but plus I'm really tired. So, fun times! So, yeah. I, again, have not got a lot of reading for June, unless you count my textbook, because exams are coming up in the next, like, 2 to 3 weeks, and I've been studying my butt off, kind of. Not really. I really should be, but all I've been reading is my textbook. Would you like to see it? Yeah, so if you want to read about diarrhea and urine, that's what I was doing this week, so I don't think anybody wants to read about that. No. Sorry, that was uncalled for. My bad. That was literally what I was reading my textbook the other day. I was like, as I'm eating food. I'm like, wow. Go me. I'm so weird. Anyways, I thought, well, since it's almost July, that means book club, and since I haven't read anything like every other book club, I thought I would talk about a book that I've already read. I was going to read on my vacation, but then because of my concussion, I can't read in the car anymore, so that was out the window, so I just listened to podcasts, which was the Jenna and Julian podcast, and then I finished all that, so I'm caught up with them, and then I was going to watch my favorite podcast, Outside the Comfort Zone, but you need SoundCloud, and SoundCloud doesn't work without Wi-Fi, so I use iTunes. And then I was watching a couple of the Shane Dawson, listening to a couple of the Shane Dawson podcasts as well. But anyways, not a big deal. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's what I listened to this month, but it's not really a book, so that doesn't count either. So this month's podcast is selected to one series. I've told you I was gonna make an entire video about it, and here it is. Here it is. Are you ready? Are you ready? For dun dun dun. It's gonna be put in right now. Flowers in the Attic. You guessed it. You smart little cookies. Because, okay, I have such a huge issue with this book. Okay, first of all, we're gonna talk about just Flowers in the Attic because, oh my god, that book was amazing. I absolutely loved it. The first book. Don't get me wrong. There's like 4 in the series. I've only read 3. The first book was absolutely amazing, but like tons of people died. I don't understand why, but the author just loves to kill off characters. I swear, I think I was copying down like how many characters died in the first book. There's a lot of them. Anyways, let me tell you a bit about this awesome story called Flowers in the Attic by VC or VC Andrews. I'm pretty sure it's VC Andrews. Anyways, there is the mom, and I forget her name. Whoops. After a great start, like all our book clubs are. The mom and then the dad got in a car accident in like the first chapter of the book. They end up getting in a car accident, and the mom they have 4 kids. Chris, which is the oldest son, Kathy, which is the little girl. I think she's like 6 and he's 8 at the time. Not 100% sure. No, that can't be right because there's the twins and they're like 6 years old. But they talk about her 6th birthday and she got a ballerina thing from her dad. I think that's why I'm thinking she's 6. But no, I think Kiss is like, Kathy might be 10. I don't know how old they are. Bad, Jenna, but I think the twins are 6. So there's the 2 twins, which is Carrie and Corey. And their dad ends up getting in a car accident. So the mother can't pay the bills because she doesn't have a job because she lived off her husband's income. So she goes to her grandfather. She goes back to live in her grandparents' place. Her parents' place, the kids' grandparents. And first the original plan was you're gonna have to stay up in this attic for a couple weeks, just like for the weekend, just until I can bring my father back over because he's not happy with me and who I married and you guys. He doesn't like the fact that we have kids. He doesn't even know we have kids. So they keep it a secret, and she's like, we'll have to hide you guys. My mother knows about it. She's going to help us, but we have to just convince your grandfather, to let me back in the house and, give me money so we can start our own job, like we can get our own place and everything, and because he's really rich. And he doesn't approve, and I can see why he doesn't approve, because she married her half uncle, which means her father or her mother had an affair with someone, had a child, and then she married him, which is kind of gross, but I guess technically, like, that is gross because that is your half uncle. Like, I'm pretty sure he's a blood uncle too. I don't think he's just like half uncle by like marriage. I think he's like a blood uncle, I'm pretty sure, kind of thing, which is kind of gross because all their kids, starting off, all their kids that they had are incest. I'm pretty sure he's hurt. I don't know if he's actually like biologically, I don't remember. Bad Jenna. Bad Jenna. But anyways, there's your first thing of incest, if it is true. I might be very wrong about this. But anyways, we'll get farther in because there's, like I said, a lot of incest in this book. It's really gross. It makes it look like my face is like not matching my neck at all, but I swear it is. That's just the light. Anyways, so they plan on only being there for a couple weeks, and just like, no, you guys can come out as soon as you can, like as soon as we, convince my father. And then they're like, you have to be absolutely quiet, like no one can know you're here, the maids can't know about you guys, like you have to be silent. You have to go up in the attic during the day so the maids can clean, and this place has to be spotless because there's not supposed to be anyone living here. So Kathy has the job of, I always say Clary, that's a different book completely. Kathy has the job of cleaning up the place, and the mom brings them toys and everything because she gets this new job as like a secretary. She's going to school to become a secretary or something like that. Anyway, she gets this job, and they've been in here, I think, for a month now, and Kathy's like, Mom, when are you getting us out here? And Chris defends her and is like, no, don't get mad at Mom, she's not going to come around anymore because you keep yelling at her. And the mom keeps showing up with like these gifts and like, lavishing the kids with these gifts. She brings twins, I forget what, she brings Kathy dance slippers or something because Kathy's a huge ballerina, and the mom's like trying to win her over, being like, no, I just need some more time, like just give me some more time. And the grandmother every day sends a picnic basket full of food. And, months go by, and the mom, first at the beginning started coming like every day, and now she's been like cutting back, and Chris blames Kathy for it because every time her mom comes, she yells at her and says, when are you getting us out? Like, when is it happening, Mom? We're sick and tired. The kids need to grow. Like, the twins haven't been outside in the sun in months now. Like, what the heck? We don't have, like, they're not allowed to look out the windows at all. They have to go up in the attic and do schoolwork up there in this, like, tiny little attic. Well, this big attic, but it's, like, dusty, and they never see the sun, and the kids don't actually get to run around, and scream and shout because they have to be extra quiet because no one can know they're there. So they have to tiptoe around, except when they're up in the attic. Then they can make as much noise as they want, and they can run around, but there's all this stuff because, it's an addict who's gonna, like, clear it out for them anyways. But anyways, so I think they are up in the attic for a total of 2 years, I'm pretty sure. And I think Kathy might be 10. I think she's 10, and they end up getting these donuts sent to them in their lunch, in their picnic basket. Every day they get like a little bit of food, and the kids end up giving more to the twins because they're growing, and then they get a treat all of a sudden, which are these white sugar covered donuts. Anyways, we'll get back into that part later, but the kids escape one night and like go down to the foyer and find out that in fact it's been months, and they're like, why hasn't, and the grandfather is like dying, and she's like, no, we'll wait till he's dead and then you guys can come out of hiding. And they find out that they see the mom at the ball. There's a ball downstairs. I don't itch my nose. So they break into the mom's room, and they find out she's seeing this guy named Bart, and they like try to scound up some money and stuff, and Chris and Kathy like dance together, I think, upstairs where like no one can see them. So anyways, that happens. I forget what part of the storyline. I'm leaving things out. But Chris and Kathy end up developing kind of like this love affair for each other, even though they know it's wrong. They're brother and sister, but they have no one else. That she starts to notice that he kind of, is growing into a young man, and that she kind of looks like her father. And Chris kind of noticed Kathy's developing boobs and stuff like that. And one thing leads to another. I think they're both like end up seeing each other naked, not by chance, but like one was in the bathroom and he was in the bathroom, so Kathy was getting ready in the attic or changing, and they like glance at each other or something and see each other, like one or the other. And the grandmother sees them and is like, "This is a huge sin. Like, no, you're not supposed to look at each other like that. You're brother and sister." They're in there for like a year. They have no contact. The only contact they have is the grandmother, who is not, she doesn't like them at all. She's a very, very strict lady. Anyways, and then the donuts end up making the kids sick because they're laced with arson. And Corey, the little boy, he starts to get sick one night. I think it's close to Halloween or something, and the mom at first doesn't want to take him to the hospital, and they're like, no, we need to take him, he's not doing well, like he's been like this for days, he's been sick for days. She takes him, he doesn't even make it to the hospital when he dies, and I'm pretty sure she just buries him in a grave like near a train station or something, or like halfway a mile from the house. They don't actually ever make it to the hospital, or maybe she does, but he dies and she buries him, or something happens. I think he gets buried. Anyways, he dies of arsenic poisoning because the grandmother was poisoning the kids with the donuts. And they don't know this at the time, that's what the donuts. I think they do figure it out that they're being poisoned. But the mom doesn't come back a lot after Corey dies, and like Kathy is livid with him. She's like, no, this is not acceptable. Anyways, I forget what else happens. This is a really long book club so far. It should probably be 20 minutes. I told you I could talk for a long time about this book. But anyway, she ends up being a ballerina, and she like dances upstairs, and she dances for Chris, and she like, and Carrie's like, oh, one day I'm gonna be a ballerina, and Kathy's thinking like, you won't be able to handle it, like it's so much work, you're like this little like fragile twig, and she's like, it takes a lot of discipline, and it hurts. She's like practicing, but she's not as good as she would have been had she been able to be a professional dancer. And anyways, the kids escape at the end of the first book. Book 2 comes along, and they get on this train, and it's just the three of them, and they meet this doctor, or like they meet the lady that helps the doctor. I don't know, the caretaker or like receptionist or the nurse. I forget what she is. But she meets the kids in the train station, and she finds them there, and she takes them back with her to the doctor. With her to the doctors, and he like takes them under their wing, and at first they're a little scared of him. They're like, because they were just in captivity for 2 years, and they're worried that they're gonna find them and they're on the run and all this stuff, but like no one ever comes looking for them, which it's weird because your children have gone missing, but they want to get rid of them anyway, so it didn't really matter to them that the children were gone. But anyways, it's they're like scared of each other, and then they rules them into high school and like buys them all these clothes, and then I think Kathy thinks she needs to repay him, so she like tries to hit on him, and he's like, no, like this is not, he pushes her off. He's like, no, you're a little girl, you're like 14, like no, there's boys in high school, like you don't need to do this for me. And I think the reason is because Chris keeps trying to, so she runs to him, being like, no, Chris, like, this is wrong between us. She realizes it. She's like, no, I love you, but we can't do it. It's wrong. Like, I know in the attic it was safe and it was okay, but we can't do it now, kind of thing. I think that's what her thinking is. And then she gets enrolled in a ballet class, and the ballerina, this guy, like Julian or something, I forget, something with a J, has a thing for her, and he likes her, and she's kind of also having like a love affair with the doctor, which he ends up sleeping with the doctor. And at first, like, he pushes away at first, and then she keeps trying and like throwing herself at him, and I think he finally gives in because his wife had been gone for years. They had a son. I think she took the son with her and killed him. I can't remember why. I don't know if he killed them or not. I think they were kind of hinting at it somewhere. I don't know. But anyways, so he's 40. She's 14. crazy balls. And then she ends up like dating the ballerina. They go out a couple times, and I think he realizes sooner or later that something's going on with Chris because he looks at her really weirdly. He looks at her more than a brother should. Like he's more defensive than a brother is. Like he's really protective of Kathy and everything, and she's just like, no, no, whatever. And then Carrie is getting picked on by all the other kids because her head grew to normal size, but her body didn't, so she looks really disproportionate because she's with malnutrition for so long, and she gets picked on, so they send her off to a private school, which she eventually ends up dying because these kids, I'm pretty sure, tie her up, like put a hat over her head, and like she ends up walking out somewhere and like dying, which is really, really sad because they send her away from everyone. She doesn't know anyone. She's lost Corey, her brother, which they were like tight because they were twins. You know, they had their own language they had since they were a little kid that they would talk to with each other, and she's missing him. And then she gets sent away from her brother and sister because I think she's being picked at school. They think it'd be better for her at this private school, and it just isn't, and she ends up dying, which is really, really sad. Third book, no, second book still, I think her and Julian get married too, and Chris comes and sees her, and then I think that's when his affirmation gets met. There's a whole bunch of other stuff happens. I don't quite remember. This is a long, long ass drawn out, but I just need to get this off my chest because this book, oh my gosh, is disgusting. Anyways, I think that's when her husband, which they're married at the time, she wasn't going to marry him, and then all of a sudden she does because they're like great dance partners together. And Chris comes down to visit her, and I think the husband finds out what like is going on between them, and he's like, no, this is disgusting. Anyways, he like abuses her when they're like dancing together, and he's like, I'll find a new dance partner, and he's kind of like cheating on Kathy, and Kathy's like, no, no, it's okay. Like she's dumb at times. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? But anyways, her husband ends up dying anyways. And then the third book, oh, sorry, backtracking. I think in the second book, Kathy also steals her husband's. She has a boy. She end up having a kid with her first son. With her, not her first son. With her, that's creepy. With her first husband, she ends up getting pregnant with him, but he doesn't know after he kills himself. And then she has him, and then she goes and steals Bart, which is her mom's. Sorry, my camera filled up there. Anyways, as I was saying, I'm pretty sure Bart is her mom's husband. I'm pretty sure this happens in book 2. Yeah, it's in book 2. So she ends up sleeping with his husband, with her mom's husband, and she ends up having a kid with him. She like kind of steals him. She finds out who he is first of all, and then she like steals him away from her husband, like her mom. But because she's all like famous and everything now, and then when she also has her other son, who I forget what his name is, and so yeah, she does that, and then she's pregnant with 2 kids. She has 2 kids now, none of which, well, she's married to the one guy, so that makes sense, but the other guy is like, this is weird. So she pretends that Chris is their dad, but luckily, so far in the 3 books that I didn't read all the third book, but in the 3rd book, luckily, Chris and her don't actually have any kids together, which is good, because that'd be really gross, because there'd be a lot of incest. Anyways, I said a lot of people died in this book, and I haven't really told you who, but anyways, like, that's a lot of characters, and they're all, like, C. So their grandfather ends up dying in the 1st book, too. I forgot to mention that. I just don't really know when. Timeline. Anyways, the 3rd book, I didn't get to read through because it's disgusting, and I could not handle it anymore. I'm like, there's so much incest. I literally threw it against the wall. It was so gross because Chris and Kathy end up living together. She's a dance teacher at a ballerina school, and they live where like no one knows who they are, and it's really gross because they're married now and they have 2 kids, and like they're not his kids, like they didn't have it together, but still they live together as a married couple, which is gross because that's her brother. Like, it's just ew. And then that's the 3rd book. There's like they go back and forth between a point of view of the youngest son, who is Bart's kid, and the dancers one is all like, he's really quick and nimble and does all these cool things because he's got dancer blood in him, as opposed to the other one's got Bart's genes in it. And this old lady moves in like down the street from them, and she's like, oh, you can call me your grandmother and stuff, because Bart's son, I forget what his name is, goes down and visits her, and I'm pretty sure that this is Chris's and Kathy's mom living there. I'm not entirely sure because they do talk about it, and it's like Chris's mom, they call Chris's mom their mom, and it's like Kathy would not go and see him. They're like, this is a little weird, like she won't go and see grandma, and they've never met grandma, and only Chris goes and visits her because Chris still sticks up for their mom and still thinks she did the right thing, and Kathy's like, no, she didn't, it's horrible, she's a horrible woman, I don't want to meet her, like I don't want to go see her. Anyways, so I don't know if that's her, but she lives in this other place, but I didn't get far enough to read it, but like, the little boy wants a pony, and the grandmother's like, the lady's like, no, I'm not gonna buy you a pony, but she buys him a puppy, and he's like, no, I want to treat it like a pony, and he's like, my pony can only eat grass, that's what ponies are, and like, the other boy has a dog, and he wants the dog, and he's like, I want something, but he's like, not a nice kid. Anyway, I forget what happens, but there we go. I'm kind of done my rant on Flowers in the Attic. But it's gross. It's a disgusting book. There's a lot of incest that happens between her and Chris. Like, I did not read the fourth book. I only went halfway through, not even halfway through the second one. I was like, I can't read this. This is so disgusting. Like, it's gross. Like, they're living together as a married couple, and it's just like, you were dating a 40-year-old. You married him too, I'm pretty sure, at one point. Or you were going to. It's disgusting. Like, or she doesn't marry him, but since she marries Julian, or he dies and she goes and marries the other guy, the ballerina guy. I don't know. She's a gross character. Like, it's just ew. And then Chris never has a girlfriend because he's so in love with Kathy, and she's like trying to push him away, so she falls in the hands of these other guys, and it's gross. It's disgusting. Hopefully they never have kids, because that'd be so disgusting. Thank you guys for listening. Probably no one will watch it, this video, but thank you guys for listening to my Flowers in the Attic rant. I need to get off my chest because that's all I ever talk about in all these videos. I'm like, when am I gonna make it? And I finally have book club number 3. It's devoted just to Flowers in the Attic, because my god, there's a lot of incest in that book. It's gross. Like, the first book is amazing, absolutely amazing. I recommend you read it. It is so good. The second one is like, ew. The third one is, ew, 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 that's your brother. Ew, 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 ew. That's gross, but anyways, that is it. But yeah, no, I do recommend the first book. Flowers in the Attic is really good. Petals in the Wind, I think, is the second one, and I forget what the third one is. One of them is Petals in the Wind. I don't know. But I do recommend the first book. Second book, third book, no, don't read that far. If you actually finished the final ending, please tell me. Comment down below. Tell me what happens in the last book. What happens? What happens in the third book? Am I right about the grandmother? Because I don't know. Is that actually their grandmother? I have no idea. I don't really know. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the third book club. And I'm sorry I ranted on for like 20 minutes, but Flowers in the Attic, it had to be done. It's out of my system now. I'm happy. I'm tired of talking. I'm going to go have a glass of milk most likely and just crawl up into bed and probably watch more CSI Miami because I'm on the 10th season and that's the final season, and I'm going to be sad when it's over. And yeah, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this book club, and I will see you next month for another book club. And goodbye, my beautiful butterflies. Or should I say goodbye, my beautiful bookworms. Bye!